The city was wide awake under the bright afternoon sun when the woman finally stopped running. Traffic hummed, office windows reflected the sky, and life moved forward as if nothing had ever gone missing. Yet inside her, everything had been frozen for 11 years. The moment came without warning, like a crack in the middle of a clear day. A small voice reached her through the noise, steady and certain, and with those few words, the strongest woman in the city felt her knees weaken and her carefully built world begin to collapse. If you believe that kindness can change destinies and that second chances arrive when we least expect them, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep stories like this alive. Arohi Malhotra was known for many things. She was known for her glass towers rising over the city skyline, for the foundation that fed thousands every day, for the way business magazines praised her as a self-made miracle. People admired her discipline, her elegance, her calm authority. But no one truly knew her. No one knew that every morning, she woke up before dawn, not to plan meetings or read reports, but to sit beside a framed photograph of a little boy with bright eyes and a crooked smile. The photograph was old, its edges soft from years of being touched. Arohi would sit there, sunlight slowly filling the room, and wonder where time had taken her son. Her son, Riven, had vanished on a bright afternoon much like this one. A park, a crowd, a moment of distraction. That was all it took. The search had lasted years. Police reports, posters on streetlights, private investigators, sleepless nights, and hope that refused to die even as the world gently suggested it was time to let go. Arohi never did. She learned to live with the pain, to carry it quietly behind her success. The city saw a powerful woman. Inside, there was only a mother waiting. On this particular day, Arohi was attending an event organized by her foundation in a busy public square. Volunteers handed out meals, doctors offered free checkups, and cameras followed her as she smiled and spoke about responsibility and compassion. It was all daylight and open air, designed to be transparent, uplifting, safe. She moved through the crowd with practiced grace, listening, nodding, placing reassuring hands on shoulders. Every face blurred into the next until she felt that sudden stillness, the kind that comes when something impossible brushes against reality. The girl stood a few steps away, holding a worn school bag against her chest. She was maybe 13, her hair tied back neatly, her eyes observant in a way that felt older than her age. She did not look lost or frightened. She looked certain. When she spoke, it was not loud, not dramatic. It was simple and clear, like a truth that had been waiting. "Ma'am, I know that missing child." The words were not shouted. They were not meant to draw attention. But they landed with a weight that made the world tilt. Arohi felt her breath shorten, her vision blur around the edges. For a moment, she thought her mind had betrayed her, that grief had finally found a new way to hurt her. She had heard many claims over the years. False hopes had become a familiar cruelty. Yet something about this moment was different. The girl did not ask for money. She did not look around to see who was watching. She simply stood there, calm in the afternoon light. Arohi asked the organizers to give them space and guided the girl to a shaded area nearby. The city noise softened but did not disappear. Life continued as it always had, indifferent to miracles or heartbreak. The girl introduced herself as Sanvi Rao. She explained that she lived in a small neighborhood on the other side of the river, that she helped her aunt run a tailoring shop after school, and that she had noticed something years ago that never left her mind. Sanvi spoke of a boy who had arrived one summer with a man who was not his father. The boy had been younger then, confused, often quiet. He had once shown her a scar near his wrist and said his mother used to kiss it whenever he cried. He had spoken of parks and pigeons and a song his mother hummed while cooking. As Sanvi spoke, Arohi felt memories rise like ghosts. The scar, the song, the small, specific details that no one else ever knew. Arohi's strength unraveled. Tears came without permission, streaking down her face in the open daylight. She did not hide them. She could not. Years of control gave way to something raw and human. She reached for Sanvi's hands, her fingers trembling, her heart pounding with a hope so sharp it hurt. The girl squeezed back, grounding her, as if she understood the weight of what she had brought into the light. The challenge did not end with belief. Truth demanded proof, and proof demanded courage. Arohi involved the authorities quietly, carefully, afraid of alerting the wrong people. The man Sanvi described had disappeared years ago, leaving the boy with an elderly woman who claimed him as a distant relative. The trail was thin, frayed by time and neglect. Every step forward carried the risk of disappointment. Arohi prepared herself for that familiar pain, but she also felt something new. She felt movement. After 11 years, the story was no longer frozen. During the days that followed, Arohi visited Sanvi's neighborhood in the bright hours of the morning, dressed simply, walking narrow lanes she had never known. She saw children playing cricket, women chatting from balconies, shopkeepers calling out prices. Life here was smaller, tighter, but full. She met the elderly woman, gentle and tired, who had raised the boy with what little she had. There was no malice in her, only poverty and fear. The boy, now a young man named Arav by the name he had been given, stood quietly behind her, his posture guarded, his eyes searching. When Arohi saw him, the world seemed to pause again. He was taller, older, his features shaped by years she had not witnessed. Yet the eyes were unmistakable. The crooked smile appeared when he was nervous. Time folded in on itself. Arohi felt both the unbearable loss of what was stolen and the overwhelming gratitude of what remained. The process was slow, respectful, and careful. DNA tests were conducted. Records were reviewed. Each day felt like a year. Arohi stayed nearby, not wanting to frighten him, not wanting to claim him before the truth was certain. She watched him from a distance as he helped at the shop, as he laughed with Sanvi, as he moved through the world unaware that his life stood on the edge of transformation. When the confirmation finally came in the clear light of another afternoon, Arohi did not collapse this time. She stood tall, tears flowing freely, hands pressed together in silent thanks. The truth had found its way home. Reunion was not instant magic. Arav did not run into her arms like in stories. He was confused, cautious, torn between loyalty to the woman who raised him and the mother who never stopped searching. Arohi understood. She did not demand. She waited. She showed him photographs, told him stories of his childhood, let him ask questions at his own pace. Trust grew slowly, like a plant reaching for sunlight. Sanvi remained close, her role quietly heroic. Without asking for anything, she had changed two lives forever. Arohi made sure her education was fully supported, but more than that, she gave her something deeper. She gave her belonging. Sanvi became part of their story, a reminder that truth often arrives through the most unexpected hands. As months passed, Arohi's public image shifted. People saw her smile differently, softer, fuller. Her speeches carried a new depth. She spoke not just of success, but of patience, of listening, of the courage it takes to believe again after heartbreak. Arav began studying, rediscovering a future he never knew was possible. He visited the old neighborhood often, honoring the woman who had kept him safe when the world failed him. The city continued its busy rhythm under the sun, but for one family, time had finally started moving forward again. Pain did not vanish. Lost years could not be returned. But healing found a way in daylight, honest and imperfect. If this story has touched your heart, if it made you pause and feel something real, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who believes in hope, and leave a comment. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who may be waiting for their own miracle. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with one word that represents what you felt while listening: hope, faith, love, or something else entirely. Arohi often thought about that afternoon, about how the sun had been shining just like any other day when her life changed forever. She learned that miracles do not always arrive with thunder or darkness. Sometimes, they arrive quietly, in daylight, carried by the courage of a child who chooses to speak the truth. And in that light, even the most broken hearts can find their way home again.